Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, anytime you get to watch this. Can you imagine countries coming together to form a league and then they decide that we are backing out of another organization that involves literally the whole world, but only few countries are not part of that? This is what had happened to the Sahel, i.e. Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. Don't let me bore you. Let's go straight into this. And this is an exciting news. It is ridiculously exciting. Let's just watch this video and come back to Georgia on it.
Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger say that they are withdrawing from the International Criminal Court. The three West African countries accuse the ICC of being a, quote, instrument of neo-colonialist repression, saying that it only targets less privileged countries. They said they will no longer recognize its authority. Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso are all led by military governments, and those three governments have said that they will set up what they called indigenous mechanisms in its place. Al Jazeera's Nicholas Hack reports from Dakar in Senegal.
An instrument of neo-colonial repression in the hands of imperialism. Those are the cutting and strong words used in a joint statement from the Sahel countries. They say that the International Criminal Court delivers selective justice, a feeling shared by other countries in Africa where there seems to be a disproportionate amount of Africans being prosecuted at the ICC. There's been former heads of states, politicians that have spent years in detention to be then released without charge. Now, in the statement, they say that the ICC seems incapable of prosecuting obvious crimes, crimes against humanity, war crimes, but also crimes of genocide, clearly pointing the finger to Israel without mentioning them by name. And so this statement from these three countries to wanting to leave the ICC comes just as weeks ago a delegation of Republican senators visited Ouagadougou, the capital of Burkina Faso, where there was discussion over the ICC membership. Now, the United States is not a member of the International Criminal Court. And so these three countries now, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, say they will create their own tribunal to try their own crimes of human rights violation away from The Hague, but on their own soil. Nicholas Hawke, Al Jazeera, Dakar.
Maxine Rubin is a postdoctoral research fellow at the German Institute of Global and Area Studies. You've studied the ICC's relations with various African nations. You're joining us from Hamburg. It's great to have you on the program. What do you make of this claim by Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso that the ICC is, quote, an instrument of neo-colonial repression, that it only punishes developing countries?
Hi, Cyril, and thank you so much for having me on your show. I would hesitate to adopt that language that has been put forward by these three countries. It's a popular critique from after al-Bashir's arrest warrant was issued. But in this instance, I'm not sure it really holds water. It seems to be a thin veil for other motivations behind the withdrawal. In fact, Mali self-referred its own case to the ICC for investigation, which suggests that there's something more to the story than what they're presenting.
Okay, what would be the motivation to withdraw from the International Criminal Court, which, just to remind our viewers, is the global court that examines potentially criminal conduct of individuals, right? So we have one court, the ICJ, which can put states on trial or bring legal action against states, and the other one, ICC, brings legal action against individuals.
Yes, I think that's a very useful clarification. Thank you. Yes, the ICC investigates individuals for these four crimes: genocide, crimes against humanity, war crimes, and crimes of aggression. And in my view, the motivation, the most immediate explanation for why these three states have quite suddenly withdrawn from the International Criminal Court seems to be that there's other political alliances that are shaping this, most likely Russia. These three states all had coups between 2020 and 2023. The new junta governments have clearly positioned themselves as being in alliance with Russia. And the International Criminal Court currently has a warrant of arrest for Putin for war crimes and crimes against humanity in the Ukraine crisis. So I suspect that there would probably be political pressure for them to make a stand against the International Criminal Court.
Okay, so if I tell me if I'm understanding this right, you're saying that another possible reading of this is that countries that feel they may not want to subject themselves to scrutiny of potential criminal action would be the countries that would either never join the ICC in the first place. The US, China, Russia are examples. Israel is another example. And countries that may feel that the law could work against them sometime in the future, they would also be incentivized to withdraw from the Rome Statute. Would that be fair?
Exactly. I would agree with that. And I think it's important also to bear in mind why many states joined the court in the first place in the late 1990s and early 2000s. And one of the reasons for that amongst the African group was a belief that the International Criminal Court would be an equalizer, for example, to hold powerful states like Russia and US accountable. And that hasn't transpired because it's not a compulsory court to join, it's voluntary. So there also has been a bit of a disappointment from the initial vision for the court and what it's able to actually deliver.
Maxine Rubin, postdoctoral research fellow at the German Institute of Global and Area Studies. Thank you very much for joining us on the Al Jazeera News Hour.
Thank you.
Welcome back. I'm super excited when I come across such news. The reason why I'm excited is I think we have come to a point where countries are meant to be, one, recognized and be treated the way it ought to be treated, with dignity and integrity. So anytime any country that's literally been sidelined begins to make strides into the limelight by means of letting other countries know that, listen, we are here and we are as important as other countries are. It excites me. I mean, this is it. International Criminal Court. If you look at it, 80 to 85% of their prosecution happens to be in Africa. What happened to the other world? And watching this video that I just played, what was the American? What were they out there to convince them to be part of the ICC? Is America part of the ICC? You're not. You're not part of the ICC, but you are there to tell somebody to be part of the ICC, because this is an organization that you use to tear down individuals. Not long ago, General Langley was going about on Ibrahim Traore and the things that he does, which the whole world literally stood against him. Eventually, he got changed, and now you are going there. What exactly are you looking to achieve? Why is it that the Western world just cannot take it to leave Burkina Faso and the Sahel alone? Deal with them like you have always dealt with other countries. Don't treat us as some kind of non-entity. The common denominator here is that we are all sovereign nations. If we are all sovereign nations, then let us be treated just like all sovereign nations are being treated. That is what they are saying. They have every right to be a part of an embodiment, and they have every right to withdraw. In West Africa, they decided to withdraw from ECOWAS, the same way they have the sovereignty and the right to withdraw from any international body. Now, secondly, the country that they decide to align with has nothing to do with you. It has absolutely nothing to do with you. And as the commentary on the video went, they have decided to step out. Period. I don't see the big deal here. And this person, expert that was brought upon to obviously throw light on certain things. I like the fact that she was put right, mistaking ICC with the ICJ. Two different embodiment. You understand? And then you also going on the tangent or the speculation that perhaps as there's a warrant for the arrest of Putin. I think there is a warrant on the arrest of other leaders as well. But the question here is, which of them are they going to enforce? And which of them are they going to prosecute? If it was an African leader, it would have been done swiftly. But as it's not an African and it's coming from one of them countries, it is becoming very difficult. There are other countries that I do believe, there are other leaders that I do believe are more guilty. So what they are saying is that we are withdrawing. We don't want to be part of this any longer. What is the big deal? I think it's a fantastic idea. If you want them to be part of it, then you need to make it attractive and make it come to light that the things that these organizations are aimed for, these are the things that are being seen. Because you can't go out there and say one thing and do the opposite. That's not how it works. I mean, if you look at the ICC and what they do, at the end of the day, it's disappointing. It's very, very disappointing. And I just don't know the reason why the West cannot come to terms with the fact that Africa, one, is a continent, two, made up of loads of countries, 54 states. And I don't even know why they cannot come to terms. Like, let us deal with them with dignity. It's very simple. I don't think Africa is asking for much. All what Africa is saying is treat me well. Treat me like you treat Europe. Europe treats me like you treat yourselves. Americas, treat me like you treat yourself. Asia, treat me like you treat yourself. Australia, treat me like you treat yourself. It's very simple. This is not a demand. And as a matter of fact, if you look at how the world is going right now, you mistreat Africa at your own peril. Period. You mistreat Africa at your own detriment. End of. That's just what it is. Let's face it, it is what it is. Africa has come very far, and Africa is not giving up, and Africa is not coiling back into its shelf. Africa has come out. It's a shining, it's a beacon of hope. And that is how it has always been. Because if you look at how the continent has been treated for decades, and we're still standing, and we're still viable, we're still firing, we're still doing that which we're doing, it tells you that you can't just beat us. So the earlier you understand this and deal with us the way we ought to be dealt with, the better it will be for you. By the end of the day, I'm standing out here, I'm sitting out here talking, ranting on what do I know, but still, this is my take.